Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review. Today we'll be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Walmart exclusive King Shark. Now before we get into it, here let us first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, the King Shark does come with a few accessories, starting off with the collectible trading card, which is all nice and shiny, look at that. And in a way distracting, so flipping it over, pause and read the bio on the back at your own leisure. But for those of you who don't know who King Shark is, he's a big shark dude who eats people. Pretty self-explanatory. This is called foil, this shiny stuff on trading cards. I don't know, I'm not up on my trading card knowledge, although I've been on a Yu-Gi-Oh kick lately, so maybe that'll improve. Probably not. But not only do you get the collectible trading card, get this handy dandy collectible trading card stand, which you can slide this card into. And you got a nice little display there. It's got the DC logo. And once you got this in here, you can set it next to your King Shark Mega Fig and display him proudly on your DC Multiverse shelf. Or just throw it to the side, because who cares? I appreciate the added effort. I think that's kind of cool. But I don't give a shit about the trading cards in this line. Or collectible trading cards in this line. Excuse me. Next up, though, he comes with the limbs of the last person to talk smack in the comments section of one of my videos. So if you guys are curious why I don't get a lot of trolls around here, this is why. King Shark will find them, and he will eat the ever-living shit out of them. But, I'm kidding, of course. These are just random soldier limbs, which you can't really stick in his mouth. They're a little big for that. I've had success with the arm, not with the leg. And there's no articulation in these. They're just static pieces. Kind of grotesque for something that's semi-solicited to kids, but if you watch the Suicide Squad movie, not so much. And I gotta tell ya, Suicide Squad 2, not a bad movie. Suicide Squad 1, total garbage. Moving on from that, though, he does also come with the traditional McFarlane display stand, hockey puck stand. Really? Is this necessary? Like, I don't think King Shark's going to have any problem standing up, guys, but I appreciate that I have extras of these for other figures. That said, let's take a closer look at our big, beefy Shark Boy, voiced by Sylvester Stallone. You know, Rambo and Rocky and one of the guys in the Expendables. I'm sorry, my knowledge on Stallone movies is very limited. I almost thought he played the Punisher, but that was Dolph Lundgren. He could have done that though, right? Anyways, random references and side tangents aside, I love this figure. This thing is awesome. I wish I got it last year, so he could have made my top 10 multiverse list, but I like how the paint on the back is darker than that of the front. It kind of fades to this lighter gray from this dark gray, almost black on the back. He's got his little beady shark eyes there. Very realistic looking shark, unlike the Mattel Collect and Connect King Shark, which was more comic based, and actually I think based more on the Flash TV series on CW, if anything. But you did get that alternate hammerhead head sculpt. Curious if they'll go that route with this character in the movies. Probably not. He does have his shorts as well. These are rubber, separate piece from the rest of the leg, and thus they inhibit all leg movement imaginable. Like, you can't really do nothing with his legs, and that sucks, because that reminds me of the Bane collectible figure, because that's essentially what this guy is. He's not entirely a Mega Fig, but he is. He's just a collectible fig that you could buy straight up. You didn't have to buy all 4 figures to build this guy. That said, I wouldn't mind picking up Bloodsport, maybe. but I'm not really keen on the rest of the figures in the wave. I'd have to see the Peacemaker show to really get into that character. And the Harley Quinn design they picked for the wave, it's kind of eh. I prefer the more biker leathers look she had towards the end of the movie. Was it the end of the movie? I don't remember. I saw it like 2 weeks ago as the time I'm recording this or posting this or whatever you want to say. But I did actually like the movie. I had fun watching it. But at any rate, as far as articulation on this guy goes, his head can look around pretty well. And this is pretty cool. He's got a hinged jaw here. If you pop it down all the way, his top teeth will pop out. That's pretty cool engineering, man. Tops off to the Toddfather for that one. Or whoever designed that. But really, really cool. I dig that a lot. Just to give you a closer look at the mouth on this guy. See the different rows of teeth up in there. Looking really freaking gnarly. I think it's supposed to be bloodied on this version, but of course mine isn't. I don't really give a crap. I never bought the bloody Mortal Kombat variant, so this is fine. I kind of prefer this anyways. His shoulders do go out to the side pretty far. Be careful you don't want to pop him out because he is a mega fig. You can do that pretty easily. This side in particular pops out of the socket. Really easy. It's not loose, but it isn't hard to take apart. Especially on the arms, and the two torso pieces do pop off as well. So he's a little bit not constructed the best, I guess is the best way to put it, but it's not really a problem, if that makes any sense. But at any rate, you can rotate the arm, you can move it in and out. That works fine. He's got swivel in the elbow, as well as a single hinge, which is pretty tight. So be wary about that. He's got a hinge in the wrist. You can hear the ratchet on that sucker. The wrist joints do look kind of ugly, though. That is one gripe I do have with this figure, outside of the pants thing. And then he has a swivel in the hand. This is very much like the Devastator articulation, where he had the big hinge in the arm and not the wrist itself. I'm curious why they went that route. But at any rate, he does have flipper hands too. He's got like the webbing in the hands. So that's interesting. I'm not really used to that, but I almost think the Mattel King Shark was that way as well. And his torso, he can crunch forward a little bit, crunch back a little bit, probably about the same both ways. Hips, he can't really do anything with. He does have like one of the best die cuts in the Multiverse line. Like, look at that. That's impressive. He does have a single knee, but you can't really get a ton out of it. And then he's got a hinge in the foot. As well as a rocker joint, which again is hard to move. There. And then he's got the toe joints on both sides, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet, which is kind of pointless to give him toe joints anyways, because you can't really use them, you know? He's got all the articulation in the legs you could want, but you can't use any of it. So that kind of sucks, but other than that, I really like this guy. He's just going to be standing on my shelf anyways. It's not like I pose all my figures on my shelf. I don't have the real estate to do that, especially not with a chunky boy like this. King Shark is, in fact, a super chunky boy, so he's going to take up a lot of real estate as it is. Probably a little bit more this way than that way, unlike the Mattel Collected Connect figure. That one was really tall, but I don't think it's as wide as this guy and as thick. This guy is super thick. And I will say, the one thing this guy does better than that Mattel one is give you better ankle articulation, better wrist articulation, and better head articulation. He's got a ball joint up in there, and you can move it around pretty well. And it doesn't look too bad either. So, with that being said, let us now move on and take a look at and some size comparisons. First up, here's the King Shark next to a couple other McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures, so you get an idea of how the King Shark scales with smaller figures. We have the Injustice 2 Flash, which is unfortunately the only Flash I have in this line so far, other than the Red Death, I guess, and the Rebirth Batman. Next up, here he is alongside a couple other larger scale McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures, the Megafig Darkseid from the Justice League movie, and the Collectabuild Frost King from the Endless Winter Wave, just to give you an idea of how King Shark stacks up to his peers. And as you can see, the Frost King is actually a little bit taller than King Shark, which is not what I was expecting. But you can obviously expect this guy to be way shorter than Swamp Thing, right? I don't think a size comparison is needed to really display that, especially given what you see here. And last but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, 11 Spawn, who's not towering over everyone today because King Shark, while he's not the biggest of the Megafigs we've gotten in the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line, he is a Megafig / Collectabuild figure nonetheless. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and even though I do really like this figure a whole heck of a lot, even King Shark as a character, I think he's really fun and super cool at the same time. This figure has limitations, and the fact he can't do much with the legs really sucks, especially considering the fact that he's got some of the best thigh cut game in the Multiverse line right now. So that is rather unfortunate, but given the fact that this is a character built the way he is, the fact his upper body has as much range as it does is quite impressive, especially the head. I was surprised to get any articulation out of that big old shark noggin of his, let alone any that's that good. So for that and that alone, if you're a fan of the Suicide Squad movie, the second one, you know, the good one, or King Shark as a character, which is more or less why I picked this figure up. I don't intend on getting the rest of the Suicide Squad unless, I don't know, they make the Harley Quinn I prefer and maybe Bloodsport. Maybe. But at any rate, I would highly suggest you pick this guy up. I think he's available on Walmart.com for a retail price right now. But if you want the bloody teeth, you may need to pay someone to paint those, because mine didn't get the bloody teeth. I think it's supposed to have them, but that's not really a problem I have with this figure, though I will say it is false advertisement, so be careful with that one. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, or else I'll send King Shark to eat the ever-living shit out of you. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.